Working on 2002 Mitsubishi Eclipse, testing out the EGR solenoid on the 3.0 liter V6. I want to see if it's working well or not. So this thing lives right here on this bracket next to the purge valve. So this one's specific to the 3.0 liter that I'm working on, so if the 2.4 is different, I don't know. But we got to know what status it's in. So when it's powered on, it's closed. So right now it should be open. So if we were to blow through it, there should be air coming out. But what I'll do is just use a vacuum gauge on here to pull a vacuum through and see if it's coming through. Okay, so I've just got a line that fits on here, and I'll have a reducer in the hose, go into my vacuum pump so I can show you guys better instead of blowing and sucking on this thing. Right now, I'm squeezing, pulling, and it's got nothing, so it's open. Now if I close this off, it pulls and holds the vacuum, which is good. So the next step to test out is just to connect power to the terminals. So you can do positive, negative, whichever side, doesn't matter. I used it closed in on one side and the alligator clip on the other, just to make sure I'm not crossing the leads over. Alright, so those are in there. Connect the positive to positive, and then what we're looking for first, or listening for, is just for the solenoid to click. And that's got a nice loud click to it. So then what I want to do is I want to have power on it and then pull a vacuum on it and see if it's actually closed when it's on. Okay, so I'm going to energize it, and then we're going to see if this thing's any good or not, if it'll hold the vacuum. So clicked. It's supposed to be closed right now, but it is not holding any sort of vacuum. Okay, so I used a clamp to hold the negative on, so I need my hands. So what should be happening if this was functioning correctly, so we're going to try to pull vacuum again, and it won't. Put my thumb over it, and it holds the vacuum, but my thumb is what's creating the vacuum, not the diaphragm on the inside. So I let go of that and it goes away. So that one's bad. So the last thing you can check is just check the ohms on it. Set your ohm scale to 200 ohms, and then put your positive and negative leads on here. It doesn't matter which side. Try and be able to hold them steady. There goes the rabid dogs. Let's try this again. $34.3. I don't have the spec on this. The only thing I can do really is compare it to the new one and to the purge solenoid, which is supposed to be 30 to 34. But we'll check the new one and see how it compares. We've got the new one delivered, so let's keep testing the new one versus the old one. So I'm just going to put the negative up to one lead and the positive up to the other lead. $32.2, which the other was like 32.4 maybe. So those are basically the same. Alright, so let's check the flow of this one. And this one is, I believe, open without being energized. Let me double check. Okay, so this is normally open, so I'm just going to use my hose and see if we can pull suction. So I can blow through and pull through that one. And that one as well. So when we energize it, put battery to it, it should be closed. So we've got negative over here, the positive here. I've got a vacuum line that fits on that, and it's hooked up to my vacuum pump. And I'm going to go ahead and run the negative to the battery and put a clamp on it. And I heard it click, so that should have closed it. And it's holding vacuum. So brand new one from Dorman is doing its job. Although I don't like Dorman necessarily, but that's what's available. It seems like these parts are difficult to come across anymore. So yeah, holding vacuum. So that one tests good versus the other one. So I hope that helped you out figuring out what the two look like, how to test them, some ranges and things like that. So hit subscribe if you like it. Thanks.